Hey guys, Tim with Force Auto. Got a KRX4, it's a 23 model. Did the XTC lighting kit, street legal kit. This is like kind of more of an advanced video because it's already installed. It's just kind of like, to give you an idea, this is more like what I would be looking for as somebody who's pretty skilled at repair and whatnot. So the whole thing is plug and play, of course. Let me get in here. So that is the brain, and it has all these plugs on it, and then everything just plugs right in. And the manual, it'll show you, you know, obviously your long harness goes to the rear, the short one's to the front, goes to the horn. But I was just going to kind of walk through a little bit of some of the things I did, because this one's pretty modified with bench seats front and rear. So, and I didn't want to take out the seats or the console any more than I had to. So, ran the lighting and horn wires right here. The other light wiring harness just right here. Pops over. I actually put the light there. The instructions say to put it here. I figured that looks a little bit cleaner, personally. And then we've got, you know, the connection here. So the yellow and white is for the left side. The harness is running up through there, just zip tie it in place, nice and clean. I pulled all the slack back into the interior too, so it's not out on the vehicle, it's behind the dash. And then here on this side, you got your green and white. And the horn, there's a bolt right here from the factory that worked great. See if I can, anyway, you can kind of see it. I took it out with an impact, but just put it back in with a wrench because it's super easy, just hand thread. And then you obviously point it down so you don't want to get water in there. Run the harness with the harness. Sometimes I loop it around it too and just zip tie it in place. Pretty slick. It works fantastic. Just plug and play, like I said. The rear, I just started here, plugged in the harness, and then ran the harness over to the other side along the loom that's already there. Super easy. The only tricky thing was putting a zip tie up here in the middle. I had to put my hand in through here and through another spot to get a zip tie in the center of the harness, and then the rest of it's pretty accessible. Plug and play on this side and back on the harness. So the only real difference between this vehicle and all the others is the benches being modified. So I don't want to take this bench out, but I bought the little release brackets from Nevada Outdoors, and so it's loose. And then I got it out or loose and just worked around it. You know, you run your rear harness up along your harness and stashed it the best I could, and then in through the old firewall passage here. Sorry, it's hard running my light at the same time. Anyway, and then well, that's not gonna be a great way to see too good. I'll have to scratch that, guys. Anyway, half of my console is already open back there. So I just ran it right into the console. Let me move these. I can open this up a little bit or not. Okay. Anyway, ran it into the open console. Really hard time getting the camera and light to work together. Yeah. There it is right there. See the harness? So my console's already cut because of a bench seat. And just ran it through there. And then up here, I opened this up here, just this section. And then I used this grabber tool, like with the claw, and reached in through this area here, grabbed the harness, pulled it into this area, set it on the floor, and then I did the same thing with the claw through this area right here where it's already been cut. And I pulled it up through there and zip tied it in place everywhere. And see these benches, My front ones were on release brackets too. I just didn't like how they sat. And so I actually just turned the seats and pitched them where I wanted and welded them, so they don't really come out very without cutting the welds. So anyway, and then here it is coming down there. You can kind of see it down onto the e-brake cable. So there's that zip tie's holding the harness right there. And all the way back up. This piece around the shifter is a little tricky to get out. I had to kind of force this out of the way. And yeah, maybe could have pulled a screw over here. I started to, and I just never actually did it. And I got it out. I'll get it back together, and got the rear harness in and all plugged in. And then my switches, I was gonna put them in the middle, and then I was like, oh, it has the cutouts are already over here. I figured it's probably more like a car on the left side, so I just cut those out with a razor blade, easy peasy. And then I never pulled the dash on this side or anything either. I ran the harness up over the string column and just there it is right there on top of the electric steering motor. Zip tied it right there and kind of snug them up, got them pretty tight so they're not dangling and rubbing on any steering columns or anything. And yeah, this is a really nice kit. I've never done a kit this nice. I always bought the Tusk $120 or $150 kits, and I gotta say, you know, this is a pretty nice machine to be skimping on, so I went with the fancy kit, and man, it's really nice. And I kind of don't really want a lever anyway, so don't really want a lever hanging off my steering wheel like I was saying. I just thought it doesn't really fit nice in the side-by-side, or I might smack it when I'm driving like a crazy guy. So I prefer the dash thing. It's not like you're driving on the street much anyways. But, you know, I guess I could turn it on for you and see how pretty it is. We got our hazards. And then they're obviously flashing. Nice clean look. There's that side. And you'll look at our rears. And, I mean, I've obviously already checked everything. I've got my harnesses all zip tied and all that. And then, so, turn the hazards off. Got my horn. Pretty nice stuff, and I like how it lights up too. So, anyway, there you have it.